Brocock bruschetta. How do you get to this from this using an airgun and fieldcraft? Johnny Muston takes us on the field to fork journey.
I've been called many things in my life, David. Silky smooth is not one of them, so for that I thank you.
Who's the boss? The postponed Essex Masters has taken place, and post we hope COVID lockdowns, we're getting a clear picture about who are Britain's top shots. The Guntrader hack goes graphic. Aunties show how to find your local guntrader.uk user with Google Maps. What are the police doing? We have the winner of the Yildiz Steel Sporter shotgun, a new competition to win £140 worth of binoculars, news and hunting YouTube. Welcome to Fieldsports Britain. Johnny Muston loves air rifles and loves hunting with air rifles for his supper.
So we're just going to line this Brocock up. Got a target board down here. Stick one of these shooting C's on and see how we get on.
For a while now, he has been promising us a hunter-gatherer experience using the Brocock Commander XR in 2.2. We've already seen Roy using this FAC modular rifle on squirrels. Now the Brocock baton has been passed to Johnny. However, if he gets one, he wants to cook it. That was the plan. The reality is a little different.
Shooting dinner tonight, David. That is the idea. So we're going to hunt for our food, and if we don't shoot anything, then we're going hungry, mate. Is that all right with you?
We were hungry last time because we didn't shoot any squirrels.
Well, you know, you win some, you lose some.
We did have a tornado coming through the woods.
That's exactly what happened, so yeah, in our defence.
Their squirrel senses have picked it up.
That's it, they'll be at home watching some squirrel soap on Netflix.
Go.
So yeah, I thought we would go and have a bit of nostalgia tonight and go an old school air rifle hunt. I know I'm using a thermal right now. I was just trying it out. This has been sent up for us to have a look at. It's a very impressive little hick unit. But I'm not going to use this when we're hunting. So it's going to be all old school, nice and close with an air rifle, face veil on. See if we can see something. It is a bit early, to be honest with you. We, could do with being here in a couple of hours' time. But we'll see what we can see. We might catch one or two out and see if we can crawl in nice and close. You will need to keep very still, be very low, David. Can you do that for me?
No.
Okay, brilliant. Well, I think, luck is in our favour.
Is that a saying? I don't know if that's a saying.
It is now. It is now. It is now.
The ground. It's been used as a grass track for 4x4s, but it's a pasture for horses. Yeah.
Up the far end, it is. Yeah. So there's a few rabbits over here, but we'll see what we can see. Go and have a look.
Even though the Commander in FAC is capable of a longer shot, Johnny will be relying on fieldcraft, not power, to sort out supper.
Yeah. Well, I'm eating anyway, David. You've just got vegetables at the minute, mate.
Try harder then.
Okay. Yeah, I got it.
Is that another youngster?
It is, to be honest with you, yeah. I'm thinking there's going to be one come out straight in front of us in a minute, which is the one that we spooked in when I first came over the top of this hill. It's been a sort of appropriate amount of time to settle down, regain a bit of confidence and come back out. But
so do you said about the youngsters and the older ones coming out at different times?
Yeah, I think the older are a bit wiser. They tend to wait a bit later in the day. Youngsters seem like eager to get out in an hour and a half's time. Be much better. There'll be lots of stuff out. This is sort of early doors really, but we've got two in the bag, so doing okay.
With a couple in the bag, Johnny heads off to stalk rabbits on the far edge of the field. It's not often we get this remote view of an approach. Pest control with delicious benefits. We are definitely eating well tonight.
He was silky smooth as well from this angle. Silky smooth. I've been called many things in my life, David. Silky smooth is not one of them, so for that I thank you. Shot. Right, that'll do us. Go on, grab him. There is a bit of mixy up at the top of the farm, but these all look good. So yeah, go and pick the last one up and we'll get cooking. This is how shooting works for me. It's all about shooting stuff to eat, for food. That's where it works. And you know, the byproduct of it is a good meal, and I love that. Bit of muddy garlic, David. So I'm going to feed you, right, what I perceive to be a good meal today, David. You may disagree. You a big fan? Cooking in the woods? Like it so far?
Very much so.
Yeah.
Special, very special.
And the fact I bought a beer for you as well. Yeah. Dinner is served.
What is it?
This is a Brocock bruschetta. So rabbit, we've got rabbit, onions, peppers, garlic, chilli, asparagus, on some sourdough rye bread, bit of smoked paprika on the rabbit. I hope you enjoy it, mate.
Superb. Thank you very much.
No, pleasure. Thanks for coming out, and hope you enjoy it.
To find out more about the Brocock Commander XR and the rest of the range, go to brocock.co.uk. Thank you, Johnny, and lucky David, enjoying the perks of the job there. Now, as you know, I've been trying to get rid of David for years, and at last I've succeeded. He's gone on holiday. So here is Meredyth on the Fieldsports channel News Stump.
This is Fieldsports Channel News. Antis have put details of the Guntrader leak onto the web with instructions of how to download the information into Google Maps so users can see their nearest gun trade user. Although the hack in July revealed no details of gun ownership, the Hunting Leaks website says that most of the more than 100,000 people whose details were leaked are likely to be bird or animal shooters. The Hunting Leaks website is based in Iceland, so is outside UK police jurisdiction. We have a full report on this later in the show. If you see red deer calves starving to death in Scotland this September, it's likely the Scottish government shot their mothers. For the second year, Nature Scot, formerly Scottish Natural Heritage, has authorised Forestry and Land Scotland to shoot red hinds out of season in September in order to reduce deer numbers across Scotland. However, there is no guarantee that FLS are shooting calves at the same time. A Freedom of Information request reveals that FLS officials and contractors failed to match calves to hinds during a similar cull last September. The Scottish Gamekeepers Association has condemned this year's cull. Lord Botham has hit out at government plans to bump up animal sentence in English law. The Animal Welfare Bill would enshrine in law the principle that animals are sentient and would create an Animal Sentience Committee that could stop projects and activities that it decides have an impact on sentience. Lord Botham, a country sports enthusiast who was ennobled by Boris Johnson last year as a crossbench peer, has described the proposals as bizarre, adding, "I really do struggle to have a soft spot for a prawn." The UK's National Small Bore Rifle Association has come out against a lead bullet ban. The NSRA says it considers the banning of lead ammunition a considerable threat to the sport of target shooting. It says it is gathering evidence to support the use of lead ammunition and has been working with other organisations to obtain the data necessary to underpin the argument. With Scotland's grouse moors under threat from the Scottish Green Party, shooters have redoubled their efforts to get MSPs out to see the issues for themselves. Edinglassy Estate in Aberdeenshire invited 3 Scottish Conservative MSPs, Alexander Burnett, Liam Kerr and Douglas Lumsden, for a tour of its moors and to discuss the management of Scotland's uplands. The MSPs learned about the loss of lapwings to predation and how grouse moors are good for carbon sequestration. 2 hunt staff accused of encouraging hounds to look for a fox have been cleared of a hunting offence. Huntsman John Finnegan and whipper-in Rhys Matcham from the Corn Hunt were on trial for breaching the 2004 Hunting Act in Leicestershire last year. The pair claimed the hunt in February was legitimate with a pre-laid scent. Partway through their trial, prosecutors dropped the case as they said there was no reasonable prospect of conviction. An Essex huntsman had an interesting 24 hours thanks to an escaped cow. East Essex huntsman Gary Thorpe took part in the extraction of a cow from a river and was on hand to shoot it if the animal became dangerous or seriously injured. The cow slipped away in the darkness and the search was called off after midnight. In the morning, it was on a bank above a weir, so fire crews set up a barricade of watercraft. On his third attempt, Gary lassoed the cow, led it across the river and into a trailer. Anti-hunting protesters dyed the fountain outside Buckingham Palace red as part of the Extinction Rebellion protests. Police arrested several people after the Victoria Memorial water feature was vandalised. Protesters from Animal Rebellion, a branch of Extinction Rebellion, daubed red paint on the sides and dyed the water red. The Met Police told reporters that they took the suspects into custody. Newspapers are outraged at a lad who launches his hawk at corvids from a moving car. This TikTok video racked up 14 million views before it was deleted. The Daily Mirror calls it a drive-by attack on birds. Antis have forced a golf club to cancel goose control. A group of goose shooters hired by a golf course in California had unwelcome help from Antis in the spring. Activists turned up at the Rancho Mirage Golf Club in the Coachella Valley. They crowded around guns and played bullhorns to try to scare the birds away, with little success. However, the club confirms it has cancelled the shoot and will seek other ways of controlling the birds. A gun has set a new world record at auction. The Colt single-action revolver that Sheriff Pat Garrett used to bring down the outlaw Billy the Kid sold to an anonymous buyer for $6 million, around £4.4 million. Bonhams in Los Angeles, which sold the pistol, described it as a relic of one of the most important and well-known stories of the Wild West. And finally, a single fox is holding up a wildlife reintroduction scheme in Australia. Rangers reckon they have shot every other fox in the 5,800 hectare fenced area at Pilliga in New South Wales, earmarked for the reintroduction of the great bilby. The fugitive, which has distinctive torn ears and is believed to be a 3-year-old male, has avoided almost 3,000 baits. Shooters have spent 465 hours hunting it. It is spotted on wildlife cameras every 3 months or so, and local park staff even believe it poses for the shots. They have tried and failed to find it by drone. They have nicknamed it Rambo. Thanks to Glenn Faller for the story. You're now up to date with Fieldsports Channel News. Stalking for stories, fishing for facts.
Thank you, Meredyth. Now, who is the best sporting shot in the UK? More than 2,000 people took part in the Essex Masters. Our head of clay sports, James Marchington, sends us this report.
It's the biggest sporting shoot of the year. The Essex Masters is the one shoot that no one wants to miss. It runs over an entire week and attracts up to 3,000 entries. Last year would have been the shoot's 20th anniversary, but that one was cancelled due to the pandemic, and this year it's been put back to the end of the season. There are 2 courses, black and red, with 100 targets each. You can split that over 2 days, but most people are shooting their 200 in the day. The targets are legendary. They're set by John Dyson, who's known for catching shooters out with tricky speeds and angles rather than distance.
Well, that's the art of course design, it's the art of setting targets. It's very tricky, you know, something looks like it wants a gap and it doesn't, and something that doesn't want a gap does. It's very, but yeah, I try not to beat people. I want people to come off the stand thinking, why didn't I hit them? Not that was a silly stand,
John's targets are certainly leaving shooters scratching their heads. Top names like Browning shooter Sam Green are scoring well below what you'd normally expect. Even multiple world champion George Digweed has missed a few.
I've shot okay, nothing outstanding. I shot 95 on the first course, which was fine. And then second course, I shot 92, lost my timing in the middle, finished 187, which according to John is probably sort of third. I think it's third equal at the moment, but it won't hold. I mean, it'll be... there'll be some bigger scores than that coming, but we come because it's a great atmosphere and a nice surrounding to come and shoot in. And because the shooting ground is not a permanent shooting ground, it's very nice to come and shoot something that may only be shot 2 or 3 times a year at events.
This shoot attracts shooters from all over. Here's a couple you wouldn't expect to find at a sporting shoot. Trap shooters Georgina Roberts and Olympic medalist Steve Scott.
I didn't expect to see you here.
We didn't expect to see you here. Yeah, we come out for a little play, didn't we, today? We was having an iron if we went training or if we come here and try a different discipline. So.
Yeah, we've got to show our support for sporting every now and then.
Yeah, plus we checked the weather forecast and it said it was going to be like this, so we thought we'd get ourselves a little suntan.
It keeps things interesting as well. It's nice to change it up with the different disciplines and come and shoot something different and meet new people, see friends, have fun for a while, and yeah.
Do the skills transfer readily from one discipline to the other, do you think?
When there's an orange ground away target, 100%. When the crossing ones and the high-driven ones are a little bit trickier, but I think there's an element of natural talent, and obviously we all swing through the target, so yeah, it's definitely transferable skills there for sure.
But anyway, you've had a good day out.
Lovely, it's been brilliant, thank you very much.
Leading the board by some margin is current world champion Mark Windsor. With most AAA shots scoring in the 170s or 180s, Mark went round on Monday and shot a phenomenal 195, 96 on the black course and 99 on the red. As the week's gone on, no one has come close to beating that. But with Richard Faulds shooting on the final day, it's not over until the last shot's fired. Richard's been on terrific form lately, with a string of wins including the English Open Sporting at Barbary earlier this year. Richard shoots the black course first and posts a 96. That's a tremendous score, but it means he can only afford to drop 1 target on the red course. He smashes everything on the first 3 stands, then a tricky low orange slips away on stand 4. In typical style, Richard keeps his cool and continues to straight the next stand and the next. And then, on this stand beneath the tree, he drops a pair. With tremendous composure, he straights the rest of the course, but it's all over. Mark's the winner. He's made the 3-hour journey down to Essex to pick up the trophy for the 4th time in his career.
I always thought all week, there was quite a few big names that were already out, and knowing Richard and how he can destroy courses, having his name here on the Sunday made me think that it was definitely not over till the last shot, and fair play to him, he made a great effort for it,
So that's the Essex Masters over for another year. And unusually, the competition season's nearly over too. All eyes are on the British Open Sporting, which reaches its climax this weekend at Swinton in North Yorkshire. Then attention turns to the game season until next spring comes around, when the Essex Masters will be back in its rightful place as the first big sporting shoot of the year.
Well done, Mark Windsor. And you can stay up to date with more clay shooting news on our Clay Sports TV website, fieldsportschannel.tv/claysports, link in the description below. Now, many of the people competing in the Essex Masters are likely to be users of the Guntrader.uk website, one of the UK's go-to websites for buying and selling sporting firearms. In July, it was hacked. Now, that hack has gone more public thanks to the Hunting Leaks website. News editor Ben O'Rourke finds out what's going on.
Antis have crossed another line in persecuting the shooting community. The homes or businesses of thousands of Guntrader website users have been plotted on a Google Earth overlay, and animal rights extremists and anyone else is invited to pay them a visit. The leak was in July, but the new map makes people like Desmond, whose details were exposed, feel even more threatened.
Yeah, they confirmed they got my name, mobile number, address, GPS of last login, which fortunate enough isn't on my address, but they've already got that anyway.
Yeah, it's concerning what they've got, definitely. If you can get it downloaded onto Google Maps, then yeah, it could lead to not just criminals with thefts, but it also antis sitting outside people's houses, workplaces, you know. But it must be frightening for some people.
My wife is more concerned, to be honest. We've got security arrangements in place. I've got CCTV, I've got plenty of locks and stuff like that. I'm not too worried about the guns. It's more being targeted, especially with the badger cull. Certain people got home visits that had even just been supplying equipment. Some of those did receive abuse and phone calls, nuisance calls at different times of the day, didn't they? So that's the least of it, really, isn't it? A nuisance call. I'm more concerned about people coming, graffitiing my house up, or even possibly criminals get hold this information and see me as like a soft target to access firearms.
In 2020, Stop the Cull's leak of data about hundreds of people involved in government-sanctioned badger culls sparked protests outside the house of a couple who developed tracking hardware used by the cullers, among other people. Antis terrorised them for days, scrawling graffiti on the drive and waking them up in the middle of the night. Hunting Leaks' release of the Guntrader data takes this harassment of the field sports community to a new level. Besides the usual antis, it invites terrorists and criminals into the fold.
With this, it's not just a case of you've got two sort of warring groups in the countryside who are largely affecting each other and not that many others. This, however, is of instant interest to every criminal and terrorist group in the country. The fact is now you can go on the internet, download a spreadsheet, put it into Google Earth and see, aha, right, there, and there are addresses that are likely to have firearms stored in them. Let's get a group together and, I don't know, take a gas axe with us, or we'll just wait outside the door and clobber the owner when he comes out with a strangely shaped bag on his shoulder. That is the main scale of the threat here. And this is why I'm talking about the Terrorism Act, because what I'm referring to there is Section 58 of the Terrorism Act 2000. That makes it a criminal offence to make a collection of data that would be useful to a terrorist who's preparing to do something or other. If creating a precise list of the storage locations of most of the firearms in England and Wales doesn't count as a collection of information likely to be useful to a terrorist, I don't know what does, quite honestly.
Desmond questions why Guntrader was keeping some of the data and how come it was accessed so easily.
The only thing they didn't manage to get is the passwords, which is the least of my concern because they've got everything else that they could get if they had my password in the first place. So it's been pointless that being encrypted. I think it's odd that why are they keeping data on locations where people are logging in? It could identify a pattern of where people are moving, so whether you're out and about with your guns.
Guntrader really is a massive, they're a massive victim in this. So blaming Guntrader solely and people going after like the GDPR route and stuff, and there's a number of solicitors openly sort of advertising now that you may be able to gain compensation. When I searched Guntrader leak, it was the first 6 hits was solicitors. You can't really blame Guntrader for this, that they've been hacked and government websites get hacked. You know, it's one of those things which we're all having to live with at the moment.
Guntrader users have been told that not to worry because it's been taken down from that website, but how many people downloaded that? Is it a KML file for Google Earth? How many people have downloaded that and distributed it? Once something's on the internet, you can't stop it. I don't think it's the end of it. I think it's probably just the start.
Google seems to have removed the map from its servers. A police investigation is thought to be ongoing, led by Wiltshire Police, which has no jurisdiction over Iceland, where the Hunting Leaks website is based. We asked Guntrader for an update, but they did not respond.
That's not a good news story, but it is a news story, and we bring you news thanks to our gang of supporters, the Fieldsports Nation. There are now nearly 2,000 of them. They pay £1 a week, they fund our news coverage and other films that we make. They get their own dedicated show, Fieldsports Extra, on Tuesday nights. They get shares in Fieldsports Channel PLC, and they enter draws to win prizes such as the £900 worth of Yildiz Steel Sporter that Chris Hill, Fieldsports Nation member Chris Hill, won this week, and the £140 worth of binoculars that someone will win next week. If you'd like to join them, there's a link in the description below. Next, to the wider world of hunting and shooting on YouTube, it is Hunting YouTube. This is Hunting YouTube, which aims to show the best hunting and shooting videos that YouTube has to offer. First up, French Roebuck the film, and expect greatness from this from German channel Wild Boar Fanatic. It's a trip to the south of France, complete with baguettes, good wine and frog's legs. Also in France, Guillaume Dexter Productions gets a chance at a nice kyler in the Sologne. You get a good flavour of the view of wildlife from high seats in this famous hunting area. In New Zealand, Kiwi Adventure Time is off for a night in the hills to try and get some venison. It all works out well. British gun dog photographer and cocker fanatic Nick Ridley has just hit 10,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel, which was in the beginning a way of recording fun days in the shooting field with his dogs. This is his latest Percy's Progress video, where he puts the little dog under pressure with multiple flushes. The National Gamekeepers Organisation is putting out a good run of films, and this is no exception. Sustainable Driven Grouse Shooting, a summary of the evidence makes the case for driven grouse shooting. Here's a shock film about trout farming on Loch Etive in Scotland. Owned by fish and seafood producer Dawn Fresh, you will see plenty of dead and dying fish at the farm. It's a film that asks you to judge for yourself, but the judgment comes fairly plainly packaged. Thanks to Adrian Burdett, who passed on a Facebook post from Dallas Safari Club about this film, The Name Game. It catalogues the problems locals have dealing with wildlife and shows why they are so keen to wipe it out. And finally, the guy behind this channel got in touch with me. He's a nature lover who grew up in Cardiff, doesn't like hunting, but wanted to find out more about it. He goes rose stalking and, well, see for yourself. That's it for this week. I've put all these films into a playlist for you. Click on the eye symbol top right or check this film's description. If you have a YouTube film you would like us to pop into the weekly top 8, email me the link, charlie@fieldsportschannel.tv. And that's it for this week. If you haven't done so already, please whiz over to our website, fieldsportschannel.tv, where you can click like us on Facebook and on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, subscribe to us on YouTube, pop your email address into our register page, and we'll contact you about this show. Fieldsports Britain is at 7 PM UK time every Wednesday. And this has been Fieldsports Britain. Good hunting, good shooting, good fishing, and goodbye.